There is a lot of content as far as fitness, exercise, diet, and nutrition are concerned. And perhaps you may be wondering, based on the title of this video, as to how fitness and exercise is connected with spirituality. Well, that is what we are going to take a look at in this video. Hey guys, thank you for stopping by and welcome to another episode of Making Sense of Life with me, Mario. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once said that our lives are governed by the habits we create and follow, and exercise and spirituality are no exceptions to it. And so with that being said, let's try to understand how the two are connected. An arduous journey. In both exercise and spirituality, the goal cannot be achieved in one shot or overnight. It takes time, effort, and persistence. It's a series of small steps taken on a daily basis consistently, which is what will eventually help us arrive at the goal that we have set out to achieve. To stop is to regress. Anybody who has been through an exercise program and has stopped will tell you the effects of what a change of lifestyle can do, not so much for the better, but for the worst. Not following a healthy lifestyle or a healthy diet is only going to lead one down the rabbit hole. Likewise, when one stops praying and does not feel the need for God, something similar would happen. Only in this case, instead of the body becoming flabby, the will to do the right thing becomes weak, because of which our evil tendencies can get the better of us. When we are in the grace of God, we are in a better position to do the right thing and fight against our evil tendencies. Taking care, sacrifice, and discipline. An important aspect of exercise is not just working out, but also consuming the right diet. If the diet is not in place, you may as well stop exercising. If the diet does not complement your exercise, rest assured you're not going to get the desired results. This means eating healthy food, more nutritious organic food rather than junk or processed foods. Likewise, in spirituality, spending hours in prayer or attending a series of talks, sermons, or just merely attending church services is not going to help if you don't complement it with the kind of choices you make in your life. In other words, if you don't act on the advice given, it's of no use. This would also mean that you would need to be a bit moderate, and if I may add, that means you may need to modify your taste, not just in terms of food but also in your lifestyle. There is nothing wrong in having riches or having wealth, but don't forget that in whatever you do, maintaining a good life and a good spirituality is never taking your eyes or focus from God, for it is Him who gives meaning to our existence. Aim high. Bruce Lee once said that a goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. Thus, failure is not the end of the story. He would go on to say that defeat is a state of mind. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as reality. Another reason as to why setting goals is important is because if we don't push ourselves, we will never grow and we would never know our true potential or what we are capable of. In the spiritual realm, we can see that something similar happens. First and foremost, we need to keep in mind that being or becoming holy is ultimately a gift from God. By our own efforts, we would fail. Yet that is no excuse for us to twiddle our thumbs, because we assume that it is God's responsibility to bestow on us His grace in order to become holy. We also have our part to play. Saint Augustine explains this in his teaching on operative and cooperative grace, which speaks about God's action upon us and our response to it. God will never force anyone to love Him or follow Him. He respects our freedom. It would definitely hurt Him if we do not respond to Him. But that does not mean that God will force us, because true love is never forced. It is freely given and freely received. Some people may think that holiness is not for them or that they are not capable of holiness. But that is a lie. We are all called to holiness. However, if we already assume defeat before we have taken the first step, how are we ever going to make any progress? Through purpose. Sometimes exercise and bodybuilding is usually thought of something for the sake of aesthetic pleasure. While that is true to an extent, at a broader level, The true purpose of exercise and bodybuilding should be to equip the body to perform one's task more efficiently. Bruce Lee believed that the student of exercise should aim at nothing less than physical perfection, including great strength, quickness and skill, exuberant health, and the beauty of muscular form that distinguishes as a physically perfect human being. He believed that each day brought with it the opportunity to improve ourselves physically and mentally, where we could choose either to seize the moment to take a step closer to maximizing our potential and progress, or to decline the opportunity and stagnate and not grow. Likewise, every day is a gift from God, another day of opportunity to do more good, to help others and continue living in His grace. Holiness is never about boasting. In fact, the holier we become, the more humble we ought to be. An unseen process. In all this, as noted earlier, the development is gradual, and while you may or may not see the changes in your physique, others will start seeing the changes in you. In the same way, you may feel like your prayer life is just a trap, but the truth is that the more you pray, you may not see the changes in your life, but others will start seeing the changes in you. The desire to be. To wrap up all that has been said, leading a disciplined life would not be possible if one does not have the desire. Without the will to act and to make it happen, no matter how many motivational talks that can be given, it is not going to work. When a person who is sick pretends to be alright or denies that he or she is sick, no cure is possible. Likewise, when we don't realize the need for God or pretend or act like we can do without Him, we could actually make a mess of our lives. As in the Bible, it is written that our bodies are the temple of God's Holy Spirit, which can be found in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 19. We should ensure to take care of it, not pampering it or indulging in excessive pleasures, but to eat healthy and be fit, so that we can use it for His glory and do more good in the world, while not forgetting to live in His grace and follow Him closely in whichever path of life one may find oneself in. As we are in the season of Lent, many people choose to give up various things like whether it is drinking, smoking, and so on, only to pick it up once again after Lent is over. It kind of reminds me of people who go through a crash diet and exercise regime, only to gain back the pounds that they had lost once it is over. Being fit is not just a one-time thing. It is a lifestyle, and like fitness, holiness is also a way of life, and the same holds true for other aspects of life like finance, for instance. No doubt, we definitely need God's grace in order to become holy, but as seen before, we need to do our bit from our end, as it is written in the letter of St. James. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. James chapter 4 verses 8. Let it not be the case with us where our blessed Lord spoke of in the Gospels, where the unclean spirit departs from an individual and brings back 7 other spirits worse than itself into that person, causing that person to become worse than what he or she was before, as seen in Matthew chapter 12 verses 43 to 45 and Luke chapter 11 verses 26. We may do our very best to stay away from those things that hold us from getting closer to Him during the season of Lent, only to relapse after Lent is over. Being disciplined and holy is and should be a way of life. I hope you have found some value in this video, in as much as it was a learning experience for me. And if you have, do leave a like and do comment on what your thoughts are. And if you have not subscribed and would like to join me as I explore different aspects of life from a Catholic perspective, do consider subscribing. Until then, take care, and I will see you in the next video.